Good morning. I see a lot of iPhones. Good morning. Hey, Miss Monica. Hey, kids. Hey, Rasha. Oh my gosh, I love it. Look at Bernie Sanders sitting with the mittens. You kids are good. I love the humor. Hello, 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 and welcome to Virtual Breakfast. I am going to say hello, good morning. Good to see everybody's awesome faces. Haven't seen everybody. Mike Pesci, great to have you, my darling. We'll get to you in a minute. This is exciting. So what else do I always say but big fat kiss on Wednesday morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, and how we are all here to empower each other to continue to move on forward, get on down. And I'm sorry, but the Bernie mittens are damn funny. Okay, Steve Isaacson always brings a level of humor that we all need beyond belief. So I think that is hilarious. Good, 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 good. Thank you, Steve I. You kids crack me up. So before we get into real serious conversation about industry insights, I'd like to just introduce myself and the thing that you're attending this morning. It's always a big fat hug. If I could hug you, you know I would, with the elbow bumps. But it is, welcome to getting your professional edge on. Bottom line, if I had a podcast, that would be the title. You are here for industry insights, and it's a career Zoom for professional development, but it is to get your professional edge on. I am Amy Cole. You know me, many of you know me from recruiting. You have been candidates of mine, or you are a hiring manager in my world, and you are hiring with us as a family at Amy Cole Connect. I am also and have been career coaching for the past 12 of my 21 years as executive search. I put that into the mix because number one, it's just a big fat passion. And number two, I need to make sure that you all understand the importance of that spit shine, that polish, that, let's say, interview speak. Let's talk about presentation for you. So as an executive recruiter, I know what hiring managers are looking for on a daily basis. I'm on the phone with them. Amy, you know what? I know he's great at finance, but I really need someone that can also rabble rouse my team, be motivational, specifically in this remote learning. Anyway, I could go on. So I'm constantly on the phone with hiring managers and understanding what they need and how they need to hear from you, your professional edge, your professional package. The past few years, we've added leadership and development, speaking and training, and it is just a fun new thing for Amy Cole. I just did a diversity, equity, and inclusion training session. I mentioned this last week. I get a kick out of it for a cannabis company, so I feel like I'm cool. Since cannabis markets are opening in Massachusetts and New Jersey, I've had a few companies call me for that, and that's been fun because I do understand DEI and understand the importance and the benefit to corporations. So that's what I am. This is who our team is. What is Virtual Breakfast? Virtual Breakfast is industry insights. We ask someone from different various industries every week to come and share their expertise and also let us know the challenges, but the opportunities as the workplace is shifting, the dynamic workplace shifting that we are seeing. I need other people outside of our world. I come from consumer packaged goods, home, beauty, apparel, mostly in the manufacturing wholesale side. And we need to hear from healthcare people. We need to hear from other industries that are growing or hitting roadblocks as well. And how do we then help ourselves assess where the roadblock may be in our profession, in our industry, and how do we circumvent and how do we jump over it? So it's an inspirational hour. I certainly hope that's the case. I know I get a chuckle and I know you lift my spirits a great deal. I am a resource. This is a resource. We are all a resource for each other. These are career connections for you, right? It is a networking opportunity. There are leaders on this call. There are professionals at all different levels on this call from various backgrounds. And I do want you to know, and you do know this, those that know me so well, it's a judge-free zone. So when we chat or do breakout rooms, there is no judgment here. It really is, how can I help you? How can we serve each other? There's a great many mission-driven principles in this hour, and it's those that I really react and resonate with. So most of you guys are the same in that way. And it's a network of highly motivated people looking to adapt to the new reality, right? My sister and business partner of 21 years always calls it your personal advisory board. Well, I believe that. I believe that if each of you ever called each other, you would have a rich conversation and a conversation that would make you feel a bit different about that day. So this is for all of us. It's for everybody. It's to empower you, okay? It's accountability. We talk about being the three focuses. You're either fear focused, unfocused, or strategy focused. My goal, knowing that God's got a plan for you, is that you're not fear focused, but it's okay if you are, and that you're not unfocused, because that's not easy either, but that we can help you take the stepping stones to be strategy focused, taking on new adventures, taking on new exciting challenges and new learning, right? We've got this. I mean, that's what I like to say. We also so much stronger together. It's the Wednesday morning rah-rah, and we're much stronger together. So this is your inner circle. I value your insights. Believe me, I am not here to just be a talking head. What you share builds my world, educates me, opens up my eyes, and I take what you have to share very much with a high esteem and value. I value your opinions and your participation. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, every week we have an inspired guest, which we love, and we're going to get into that a little bit later with the industry intel and the job market insights. I really feel, and I keep saying it, I just know that from me exposing myself to more and more recruiters in other different industries. I mean, you guys are going to giggle, but I had a conversation with a recruiter who I've actually known for many, many years. I'm in a mastermind program with him. His only business is cardboard boxes. On fire. He only staffs companies that happen to be in the Midwest. It's very interesting. I don't know why, that make cardboard boxes. Well, with the uptick of e-com, with the uptick of online, the past 20 years, his business has grown, as you can imagine, but COVID has set his world on fire. Only filling jobs in cardboard box manufacturers, right? I mean, sorry, but who would have thunk? Then you think of the guy that makes the tape, right? You got to tape the box. We won't even get into UPS and Amazon and all the shipping situations, because those companies you would think should be on fire as well. So anyway, why virtual breakfast? Why take this time every Wednesday? We are in a whole new work-life paradigm, whole new, uncharted territories, uncharted for me. I am in a situation where I am calling on companies that right now, due to finances, would rather not spend money on a recruiter and would rather go through 648 resumes on a job. I know the pendulum will shift. I lived through 2001. I lived through 2005, 2008, the housing market crash. My business did constrict, as we're all experiencing right now. Pandemic is unique. I will give you that. But I've had constrictions in the economy where the job market was challenging and is challenging and has been challenging. And we do come out on the other side. It's very interesting. I've said this a few times, and I hope this lifts a spirit or two. We will see a big uptick. And when it happens, it blossoms. Because those that have cut back, they don't have that many companies right now to service. They're not servicing their clients. They don't have as many clients to service this very minute. But when they do, they're going to need you, and they're going to need to ramp right back up. I do believe we're going to see a floodgate open when the market opens, when vaccinations are in place. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not sitting here saying that, but we see why the economy goes down, housing market or a pandemic. These are shifts that we see, and we've got to be able to embrace and live through, right? So I am here. So why virtual breakfast again is because there's a plan. There's a plan for you. I know there's a fabulous plan for you. You know, it is time to pivot or pound the pavement. I no bones about that. We're going to talk to Mike about this. You have got to be creative with what your skills are and how do we pivot them right now, or you are going to be pounding the pavement a long time. So I don't hold back, but we have to have that faith and know in our heart that hope is there, that this thing will be opening. And our goal is, when market is opening, is you're ready to be ready. You need to be ready to be ready, right? So that's why you come on and take a little bit of the intel of the professional development piece as well as the industry insight. You are your own brand. You are your own marketing engine. And it is a different market out there, and it is competitive. Okay, so you need to be ready, agile, and addressing this honestly with some type of urgency. Taking a look, where will I be when I am in front of that opportunity? Am I prepared? I don't have a lot of chances right now to make mistakes 3, 5, 10 interviews in. Right? I've got to be ready to nail those interviews when I'm there. So you know how I could go on for hours, sorry. We have limited time on this hour, but there is a place for you to work with us as an organization, as in career coaching. We will get back to that. So stay till the end and I'll share different ways through which you can join us and try to get your professional edge on either one-on-one or join a group. And we will take all that in a little bit later. Last week, guys, it was the inauguration and it was Kamala who moved me to tears. I'm a sap. Whatever. So we talked about viewing reality. Remember I said I felt like she looks at life and she's realistic, right? And that she also set visions for herself as a first woman in so many different categories of her life. So I'm just curious as I look at all the fun faces and all the iPhones, who put in the chat, did anyone take stock of their reality after last week's conversation? Anyone take stock and throw it in the chat. You don't have to know where you want to go, but did you put a visualization to it? Remember I said, if I put the sticky note up and I keep myself on biz dev on my computer, it's always AIM, spend time on biz dev, spend time on calling strangers, because if I see it, then I go to that, right? You need a visual. I need a visual. So I'm curious what in the chat, did people do that? I've got 4 chats going on. Hi, Lauren Logan. Wednesday breakfast because it's awesome with Amy Cole. Cindy Ray, she thinks I'm paying her on the side. Personal development is the path to everything. Thank you, Diane. Thank you. Yeah. So nobody did any visualization last week just for fun? Yes. Change is possible. Plant the seeds and do the work. I love it. Yes. New approach to content of resumes and okay, hold on. What? New approach to content of resumes and brand. Yes, Samantha Gatza. Okay, made note of where I am and where I'm going. Okay, my brand. Good, Samantha. What about other things? What other visualizations? What about how, like, you want to own a house in 3 years, right? Because then you set the stage. You don't have to know the stepping stones. None of us have to know the stepping stones. Yes, you're right, Steve. It is the first step. It's keeping us aware of where we want to go. Is it just a job? Because, guys, just a job is an empty visualization. May I be honest with you? You don't want just a job. We want to either empower teams. We want to live our best life. A new happy job, absolutely. A job where you're challenged, a job where you're excited, a job where you're allowed to fail, a job where you're allowed to grow, right? So I don't mind that people just say a job, but if you got to sit down with me one-on-one, lead from the future, act in the now. Awesome one-liner, Lisa at Coach Dibbs. Yes, absolutely. Yes, correct. So that is that. So good. Okay, cool. Then that's what you did, you guys, because the vision will guide your steps, right? Lead from the future and act in the now. I got to steal that and I won't, Lisa. I'll give you credit every time, but that's a good one. Because once we have a vision, we see the opportunity and the vision shifts our mindset. Nice, Hillary. The vision shifts our mindset. Mindset is a choice. I am so big into mindset as cuckoo, right? Because boy, can that mind get us down. Like I am calling companies and they're not hiring or my fees are high. It's discouraging, right? I'm telling this because I'm you. I'm you looking for work. You're you looking for work, right? We're together in this. Just because I'm the recruiter end doesn't mean I'm not in the same boat you are, right? So it helps to actualize my vision. I want three new accounts outside of my industry. Actually, I should give you my vision. I want 3 new accounts outside of my current category by the end of 2021. I have to be realistic. Don't forget realism. But I've got to actualize that, right? And I have to be open to see and receive the changes that we're going through. This is the reality. They're no longer paying that fee, so then accept that other fee and know that that will be the stepping stone, right? Mindset is a conscious choice. And we make a choice every day. Every day we make choices. So we kind of need to ask ourselves, and I don't like to tell you what to do, but I would like to tell you that what the lens you are looking through is the lens of your reality. So are you resisting change? Or are you embracing change? So, we see the obstacles, but do you see the obstacles as a chance for opportunity? To be goofy and learn something new? I say goofy only because why not make it light, as opposed to, oh my gosh, I've got to do this. Because I will tell you right now, I do that sometimes. I'm like, oh, I have an allocated hour and a half every day, well, 1 to 3 actually, to do sales calls, right? I don't like sales calls. Who likes sales calls? But I have to embrace that I'm going to talk to somebody new and different. And I end up talking to new and different people. And I end up talking to people that don't want to hear from me again, but I'm willing to make the call. I've got to be willing and embrace that that's the obstacle, with the hope and the chance that it'll expand my business, because that's what it's taking now, right? So I have to seek out these opportunities to meet new people. And I'm speaking to you guys. Seek out opportunities to learn new things, right? And have that experience. There's a philosopher and an author, and you do or don't know him, but his name is Aldous Huxley. And he said, and I like this quote, experience is not what happens to you. It is what you do with what happens to you, right? It's how you make lemonade out of lemons, right? Or my favorite, because it's so simple, is, and I say this so often to friends, guys, happiness is a choice. No matter what the situation we're thrown, no matter what the situation. Number one, and it's obvious, but change is the constant. Whether we had a pandemic or we had another type of economic downturn in the job market right now, right? Change is constant. And it's constantly going to confront us. So basically, there's no escaping it. That's not to say that it hasn't been hard. And for many of us, there's been a great deal of losses the past 10 months. And honestly, I understand how excruciating it can be. And I mean that, right? But it's also so good that we rabble rouse and we raise the roof and we remind ourselves how far we've come, how agile we are, how we're getting up on Wednesdays and coming to virtual breakfast for the faces that I see all the time, and hello to all the new faces that I don't know, right? That we've come knowing that there is abundance of opportunity, right? Let's do the pat on the back. Nobody else will. So let's ourselves, like, the journal girl, I'm like, Lord, thank you so much for this opportunity to be coaching more. Thank you so much for the butterflies in my stomach Wednesday morning for virtual breakfast. I know you're working through this, right? We don't give ourselves enough credit. I don't anyway. So I'm going to speak from Amy Cole's point of view. We tend to think we can always be doing more. Well, listen, we've adapted like rocket fuel the past few months, right? At a faster pace than we have ever had to. So you're not even realizing or recognizing all the changes you've made, educating your kids, feeding your family, having your husband home 24/7 from the office, right? Right? We have to embrace all and accept and go, yeah, I've handled that well. I tell him to do the dishes. It's working, right? So anyway, I get silly, but the fact is we are all wired to be agile and adaptable, right? I mean, Darwin's thing is, what was Darwin? Charles Darwin used to say, it's not the strongest species that survive or something. It's the one that is most adaptable to change. Something like, yeah, Darwin used to say that it's not the strongest that survive, right? But that it's the most adaptable to change. And because we have to be adaptable to change. If we stick our nose in the sand or put our head in the sand, we're not going to thrive. Specifically, we're not going to thrive right now. So, and I'm glad that we're not sticking our head in the sand, because that's a darn good thing. The next 2 years, I think we're going to see more seismic shifts. I really do. We don't know what they are yet. They're not 100% clear, but make no mistakes. The seismic changes have been planted just due to the technology and the rapid infiltration of digitization. COVID was a catalyst, but it was on its way anyway. We just hit the tsunami with this pandemic, right? So how do we set ourselves up? How can we take this and set ourselves up for the next 2 years, or for all the changes, or the changes we're experiencing this very minute? I want to say, number one, please don't measure today against the way of yesterday. Because as Teddy Roosevelt says, and I know this quote all the time, I say it, comparison is the thief of joy. If you're going to compare what you used to have, the salary you used to have, the title you used to have, the number of people that you used to manage, with what's going to happen next step, you're going to probably be discouraged, because the reality is that role probably doesn't exist right now in the same way. So try not to measure yourself. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? Also, don't idolize idolize. Yeah, idolize what tomorrow might be. Be realistic, right? We talked about that, because we can't compare from past. Right now, we have to look at where it's going. We have to embrace reality. right? And the more we let go of that past, which is how I'm feeling right now about, I've got to learn new categories. I've got to learn new acronyms when I'm recruiting, but I'm excited. I get on these websites and go through rabbit holes to find out what tech terms are, what terminology is in 3D happening and things like that. So if the more I let go of the past and the old way I used to speak, the more I get to greet the new. So it is a piece of letting it go, right? Instead of trying to meet some previous standard, it's time to really just let that go. And the other thing is, change does stir a great deal of emotion. So just accept that emotion. Be okay with it, right? Like even a positive experience can be stressful. A new job, a new relationship, even though it's fun and sexy, it's hard. Moving to a new home. I mean, these things are all stressful. So you're judging it, it's good, but there's also that negative that it just, any change brings that, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So just to simply acknowledge what we're feeling, acknowledge the reality and shift our minds. That's really my message this morning, is shifting our minds. I'm working on it myself. When things tend to get us off course, let's do the mind shift. If you're in some of my coaching programs, I have a funny one. When something comes my way and looks like a hurdle and I'm not excited to go after it, I say negative delete, and I clip my finger, snap, negative delete. If you can retrain the brain to accept and look at things in the different way. So just by saying negative delete, I want you all to do it. Negative delete. Like, oh gosh, I've got to go to do that. That's going to be so hard. My resume's terrible. I don't know what to say on my resume. Negative delete. Negative delete. Rewire the brain, people, and let's get it rolling. So that's a fun one. I love that. Mind shift is everything. Your mindset is imperative. And if there's any time you need a good kick in the pants or a big fat, I'll get you going, dial my number. Because it's easy. It's something that I like to do. And I'll be honest, if I need you as much as you need me, believe me, that day when you call. So every week at Virtual Breakfast, we go over the 5 P's of your professional edge. Very quickly, I'm going to do this. There are 5 P's to your professional edge in my methodology of training: your purpose, your passion, your profile, your partnerships, and your positioning. So your purpose, what gets you up in the morning? What's innate? You love people. You like to motivate. You're methodical. You're strategic. You're a numbers girl, whatever. Your purpose, you do it without thinking about it. Your brand, personal, professional brand. It's the way you deliver your skills and expertise. How do you deliver? With empathy, with strategy, with direction. How do you deliver your skills and expertise? 3, your profile. That's everything wrapped up in a bow. Your LinkedIn, your resume, your cover letters, your thank you notes. That is the profile you're putting out to the world. If you have not nailed your brand, woven your purpose into your brand and your profile, then you're networking with the 4th P with partners, and you're not telling them who you are or what you can be. Right? So it's a consecutive 5, but the last 2, once you've nailed your professional profile, the partnerships will come, and you can benefit by saying hello to partners as long as they understand what your value you bring, and your profile should share the value you bring. And lastly, your other P is your positioning. Where are you putting yourself? You're coming to Virtual Breakfast. Are you then networking? You're on groups in LinkedIn. Are there other industry association things you've now started to go after, maybe in supply chain and logistics with blockchain, because it's one step up from the old school supply chain and logistics, right? Where are you positioning that profile that's succinct and confident, and how are you putting it out there? So those are your 5 Ps. I'm going to invite Michael Pesce to start saying hello and talk a little bit.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike Pesce.
Good morning. Amy, thanks for the motivating morning. This is the first time I've been part of this call, and just kind of excited to hear you so fired up first.
Well, let me just do 2 things. I want to introduce you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm going to have you continue, but I see all the stuff in the background. See, this guy has always got something going. Before I have Michael share his story, I want to give you a couple of things. Michael comes from a corporate background. Okay, we met recently. Again, this is a nice new relationship we have. He is VP of sales for a company called Leisure Arts, but in fairness to him, he owns multiple businesses. And that is because he has bridged corporate expertise into entrepreneurship. And I want to give you just a stat for everybody to know that there are 582 million entrepreneurs in the world. Okay, now that's a stat from Marketing Globe blog 2020. There were 774,725 new, so let's call it 775,000 new businesses established in 2019 in the United States in 2019. They don't have the stat from 2020, but Mike, we might talk about that. Of course, it's going to be bigger, right? Imagine it. And the other thing is 3 in 4, 78% of US small businesses are currently profitable. Now, why is that interesting to everybody? Because I may not be reaching my metrics of 2019 that I did in 2019, right? 2020, I will be honest, was a third of the revenue I had in 2020 in 19. Am I profitable? Well, I brought my overhead down. I do not have an office. We had to streamline staff, right? So profitability means that you are still working within the black. And so that number means that people shifted, probably, if 78% of them are financially stable. And that's from Gideon Financial, and it was a poll taken in 2020. All right. Anyway, I want everyone to understand the value of small businesses, how they are doing, they're making themselves happen, and the risks. So, Mike, you definitely have a really fantastic, varied background. I mean, from P&G and tobacco to Crayola to stationery to home plates. I mean, you've touched a lot of different things. So, I'd love to have you give us a snapshot, name, title, and what you're up to. And, today, how you bridged learning from corporate business into ideation and businesses for yourself.
Well, thanks for the introduction, Amy. It's kind of, I think you touched on a bunch of things that really resonate, and just the word change, adapt, pivot, cycles, goals, negative, delete. I mean, that's a new term for me, but these are all things that, as an entrepreneur and kind of growing where I started, really resonate with my story. So maybe I just give a little bit background on myself. Like Amy said, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I never started out that way. Right now, I currently own 6 businesses, and I have a full-time job. So when it started out, I mean, I have National Creations as a product prototyping company. I have a company called Centin LLC, which I do my product sourcing from overseas and around the world, as well as I do medical and CPG products. I have a brand company called Feromas, which is a startup, which I've had to pivot, and I'll talk a little bit more about that on my pivots. I have another company, a real estate company for commercial, and I have a real estate company for residential. All of these things are something when I was 30, I would have never even dreamed having. So only in the last 15 years was I able to leverage my experience from CPG into, excuse me, into what I'm doing today. So I started out my career, I mean, at Brookdale Community College, just, as just a student, had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew math was like not a thing for me. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll take criminal justice, no math requirement. I could be a cop, have a great career. So I get in there and take a job as a private investigator. Okay, I'm private investigating. This is great. A friend of mine gets a job out of school as a pharmaceutical sales guy. So I bring my resume to someone to help me with my resume. I said, hey, what do I need to do to get into pharma? She looked at my resume and said, no way. This is back in the 90s. There's no way. They take cream of the crop, and you're a private investigator. And I said, okay, well, that's my goal now. You're saying I can't do it. So let's find a way to do it. So I take my resume. I said, okay, what do I need to do? So private investigator, I get a job at, I was in Newark territory and in New Jersey and all the inner cities, all the places that no one really wanted to go with college degrees. So a job comes up. I'm looking around in for the Newark territory at RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company. Tobacco wasn't my thing, but okay, tobacco. So it turns out I interviewed for the job and I didn't get the job because someone with the college degree had it, but I was going to school full time at Rutgers. Someone gets the job and I'm just devastated. They said, hey, listen, but you have Newark on your territory, on your thing. Maybe you could take that territory because no one out of college wants to take that area. So my bridge that gap, my experience from private investigator lands me a job in something that required a college degree. So now I'm at RJ Reynolds, and I remember being at the first sales meeting and seeing my manager up presenting at the sales meeting in Atlantic City in front of 400 people, and how scared I was. I'm thinking to myself, wow, like that's so scary to be up there talking in front of 400 people. And then I said to myself, well, what if I was able to talk in front of 400 people? How do I get to be on stage? And so from that like that whole interaction, I spent the next year talking to my manager and saying, I'm going to present how to do stuff in the inner city, how to change the way that we do marketing in the inner city. And so we came up with a theme. No one wants to come to Newark, so we're going to bring Newark to you. So we brought video and brought the whole entire thing on how to do business in the inner city. Wound up hitting all my metrics and wound up, winning the most valuable sales rep in the Northeast. So right there, I got my college degree. So I had the stepping stones, my college degree in this path. So now I had everything I needed to go get my pharma job. So I get the pharma job. I get 2 job offers for Bear Pharma and another job. Then I get a call from a recruiter. The recruiter says, "Hey, um, I want you to look at this company called Binney and Smith." Well, Binney and Smith, who is that? Is that a financial company? I told you I don't want to work for a financial company, but I'll listen. No, Binney and Smith is Crayola, you dummy. It's a crayon company. So that's the name. That was their 100-year-old name, was Binney and Smith. Well, it was a more entrepreneur environment. So I looked at the 2 offers I had and everything I was gunning for and said, if I go here, I'm going to be a number. I'm just going to be there in a pharma job. And they're choosing my destiny. They choose my destiny. The entrepreneurial role, after I went through the interviews, allowed me to have more flexibility and manage territories and have a little bit more room, learn different things. So at Crayola, I was there for 5 years. I got started in education. My manager saw some potential in me and my sales abilities and things and put me in consumer product packaging. I took on roles in leadership roles in different areas of brand management, platform development. And basically what they told you is, here's the world. I mean, in a nutshell is, this is where the world's going. Here's where we are. How do we smash those things together? If the world's going here and we're here, how do we bridge those to get together? So that whole thing, as part of that for products, bridge into the way I would think about my next goal. So here I am. I win all the top awards for 5 years, leadership awards, culture and leadership awards. And then they asked me to get promoted. I said, no, I don't, I'm 30 years old at the time. I don't want a promotion. I'm here in business development, do my thing. I'm going to take over my manager's job and whatever. So the CEO of the company actually asked me, and I said, no, I think I'm comfortable where I'm at. So sure enough, I get a notice. After that, I said, no, no, no. So the vice president of sales said, listen, we knocked on your door once, we knocked on your door twice, you're out of here. You're freaking gone. So of all the times the guy was so egotistical because I said no, that it put me in a position. So I wound up losing my job with 3 kids, from Cradle top, totally like top of the food chain. And from 2 weeks before that, getting the culture and leadership award for the whole entire company. And here I am. I said, this is the last time I'm ever going to put my destiny 100% and leave it into the hands of corporate or people, because it's so unpredictable depending upon who's in that job. So I get a job so here I am trying to get a job now.
Can I just add you something that's very funny on the statistics that I went through? The number of people wanting to start their own business because of the distraction with corporate America grew 27% this year.
Yeah, it does. And a lot of people put their fate in the companies. That's fine. Thank you. Into the hands of other people. And I said, I'm not going to do it again. So here I am, down and out, totally devastated. I don't even know how I'm going to tell my family. I said no to a promotion and wound up losing a management job because they eliminated the whole entire department.
Okay, well, don't give me the whole beat. Keep going. We need your tips on how you took corporate knowledge to the next step.
So we go into the next step. So I take that knowledge experience, go to Sergeant Art sourcing company. They get hired from a competitor of Crayola. And they say, listen, we want you for experience. So I get over to next thing you know, I'm on a plane to India, never left the country in my life. So here I am in 2009, the height of the recession. There's no jobs. I'm settled to take a job that I didn't want, to go into India. I'm gone for 2 weeks, right at, and I was at the gates of India the week before the shooting at the gates of India when they had that whole thing down at the Taj Mahal at the Taj Mahal Hotel. So I get home, my wife's like, you're not traveling like that again. But listen, I need this experience. We have no choice. This is what I'm going to do. But I got valuable sourcing. I got to learn how to buy products and sell them. So I'm adding that. So I have product experience, now I have sourcing experience. How do I take that? I'm there for a year. The economy starts, like you said, cycles happen.
Yeah, cycles happen.
Left out the cycle. I took that to bridge the gap and gain experience. It's something I would never have done before. I was staying at Red Roof Inns when I used to stay at hotels, really nice hotels, and go to Bahamas with Crayola for sales meetings. And here I am at Red Roof's Inn for this company, and in just a totally different thing. So now I'm back in sourcing experience, international experience on my resume. So next thing you know, I take that experience and go, okay, well, now I go to a company called Trends International. They do the licensed wall posters. I get a job. We're coming in 2010. They sell the posters when you go to Michael's and Walmart, the stuff that used to be out there. Talk about an industry that's changing. Licensed wall posters. Who's putting, when you have pads and iPads? No one's doing that. At the time, that was huge. So 10 years ago, that was huge. Everyone had posters for your wall, and I sold them to Walmart and Michaels. Along that way, I met a guy who said, "Hey, listen, you're really sharp. You have experience from Crayola. I know a guy in China that wants to start a company. Let's, can you want to talk to him?" So it was my birthday. Guy came over from China. I said, "Listen, it's my birthday. I have to make a decision now. Am I going to skip out on my birthday thing with my family or go and meet this guy and see a personal opportunity?"
Mhm.
And had I not made that meeting, my life would have changed. These different things that I said, I'm going to, listen, I'm going to just, gut told me, go and do it. So I had this networking opportunity and met this guy from China who spoke barely any English. Meet him at the thing. I said, have some ideas. Let's do it. I didn't leave my day job, kept my day job. Came up with some concept ideas for a company called, and named the company, did a whole bunch of stuff on the side for the company, Reveal. We decide that he's going to manufacture the products for us in China. I kept my day job, and I get a booth at Toy Fair in the Manhattan in the basement. But yet I set up the booth before I got there, and my company was on the second floor. So I go down at lunch and check on it
Oh my
and
God.
say, and I was sending all my people downstairs because you can never quit your day job, And so we had no money and no revenue.
Yeah, and a woman who works in health coaching and helping men and women gain their best self-confidence through healthy body and healthy living is saying never, always have a side hustle. But let me just ask, and I am fascinated by the journey, and you've hit on a couple things that I want to start to. First of all, we've had many people sit here, corporate and entrepreneurial people, that have said they've taken meetings that they didn't want to take, and it exponentially changed their career. So I love that you're singing that, because you do not know where things could go.
You have no idea where things could go. And I have more things to go on that. And fate's a little bit, it's just your gut instinct, that things that you enjoy and surrounding yourself with, taking those meetings and meeting with people that you wouldn't generally think, you will learn something or you'll have a good experience and you'll expand your network into ways that you would just never otherwise know.
No, and
Take
I appreciate that. Can I ask some nitty gritty stuff, which is, as opposed to, you said you understood the sourcing, and then you obviously business development. Everyone is in sales, and I say this all the time when I am privately coaching people. We are salespeople, period. The end. No matter what category you're in, because you are selling a cross-functional team to reach a deadline, to reach a time and action calendar, to get a price, to get the quality. You're sales. You're always sales. So that is wonderful that ended up being. I don't know how your private investigation helped, but that's actually kind of cool.
You have to try to ask questions.
Yeah, you learn how to exactly listen and ask questions. Yes. Oh my gosh, Michael, that's perfect. Yeah. And so, you know, and then you added that sourcing piece. I mean, you're a risk taker. I know that you got let go from Crayola and it probably punched you in the gut and you said, okay. I mean, but what would you say is, and I ask everybody this question, what would you say, for folks on the call, is the number one quality that you have that has led to your success, personal or business? What is it that's given you that? You're very engaging, and people want to spend time with you. That's always helpful. But I also tell introverts it doesn't mean that. It could be some other type of quality that you think you have. It's not your math skills. We found that out. What would you say is the number one thing that's helped you succeed through all of these opportunities?
I think it's just really my curiosity, your ability to ask questions and to listen to others, and just simple things. They're saying you have to continue, get yourself out of your comfort zone. There's certain things that in life I would like see student in college, do all stuff. Never thought I would be able to do what I'm doing now. If you
Mhm.
would have told me years ago in terms of my class ranking where I would be and from where I was, and I went back to school, you would never guess where I am. So the part of it is challenging myself to think differently and do things that get myself out of my comfort zone and be able to adapt to change.
Mhm.
I think those abilities have really helped me a long way to being curious and to be able to pivot and adapt to the needs of the whatever's going on at the time.
And I think that we think we know the answers, but I'm also trying to figure out the answers. We know that the mass market, and I know that that was one reason why your entrepreneurial efforts have worked. You're targeting mass companies like Michaels and Walmart, and you have those relationships in there. What would you say right now? I mean, do we ever see? I don't know. No one has the crystal ball, so it's not fair. But most people on this call understand the manufacturing world, and omni-channel is everything. And your new business, the Furomas, help me,
Aromas.
Furomas with the kids business is more of an interactive. Yeah, Aroma. Oh, scented markers. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. But you go to that website and it's experiential now. You don't. It's your product, but I honestly feel like you're showing me a cartoon, and it's active and it's video.
When we started Centos 10 years ago, this is my thing of why I got back. And when I sold them, to fast forward, Centos became huge. We take Centos to, you know, 10 years forward. I have an opportunity to sell the company in 2018, which I did. I sold it to my partner because I took it as far as I possibly could with the resources and the vision that were there as CEO, starting as an equity thing to CEO, took
Okay.
it very far. So then moving forward, then I said to myself, well, what if I could do it again? And what does the next, where is the industry going? And
Mhm.
where are we now? And Kit, if I were to do this again today, what I did 10 years ago wouldn't really work because of the omni channel. We didn't have the connection to the videos, the sales stuff, the getting out. We never, at anything that I'm doing now for Omas, I never did at Centos. Centos is Walmart. It's in all the major brand right now. They're there. But I look at the opportunity to say, I'm competing with myself. And because I'm looking at not what it was in my presentation, I say this 10 years ago, Centos was the last 10 years. This was like the last 10 years, just these funny faces on markers.
Okay.
Now they want to see emojis, personalized, more focused, more interactive with the kids,
Right.
more like QR codes. How do these connect? Because every tactiles change where there's slime, there's this thing. So what's changed where kids want to just touch things? So these things you have to look at where the world's gone since we started and where it's going. And that's what I'm able to do and bridge that gap.
Oh, wow. Well, Michael, thank you so much for sharing all this. And I'm going to ask if you're comfortable with putting your name in the chat and having people say hello via LinkedIn, or, not to torture you, but to, compliment you and thank you for everything. And, hang tight if you want. We talked to everybody on the call, so we're going to invite a few people to tell us where they're at and what's going on. But thank you for your insights. And I love the curiosity piece. I always feel that, I don't, I'm that girl. I'm always honest with everybody. It doesn't mean it's easy. I think I come across as this goofball and it's all easy, but would it be fair to say it's challenging, right? Everything you do is,
Everything you do is challenging, but know this, I'm here for anyone that's on the call. If you have a call offline, reach out to me. My thing is had the opportunity to learn and do things that put me in that position the same way I've had people that work for, or I worked for RJ Reynolds came back and had coffee with me because it changed. Hey, could we get a coffee? You've been successful here. You're meeting with your boss that's coming to you now for different things. So it's a very humbling experience to do that. I would say anyone that's on the call here, my goal is one of my old employees came to me to start Feromas. I'm doing this for him to give him the same opportunity I had. So anyone that's out there, if you have questions about CPG, even if, hey, I need its prototype, I have an idea, like what can we do? I really want to just extend that because to anyone to reach out to me direct or through Amy. And I really appreciate the time, Amy.
well, you're fantastic. And I want to say that, and I'm going to say goodbye to your face and just put me on for 2 seconds because got it fancy, but, um, guys, Mike and I met because he took a offer. I was business developing. Are you guys hiring? I found your company. I think you're fascinating. Are you guys hiring? I come from the consumer goods space. And he said, we are not this minute, Amy, but I would welcome an opportunity to say hello. If there's a connection I have, I will readily give. And that is, you just don't know where life will go. And he has no reason to know Amy Cole or to even take that call or jump on the call. But he was darling. And first of all, we laughed about Joe Pesci, right? I mean, you got a last name like Pesci, you got to have a couple of laughs. So that helped. That helped a great deal. But Mike, you were more than I expected. And thank you for being an inspiration. So hang and listen. I want to invite Linda Rosen, I haven't seen in a long time, to say hello and tell us what's happening in your world. Hi, Linda. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am well, thank you. So I always ask for your name, your title, and your industry.
I'm actually not working right now, looking for a job. It's funny. My career path is a little bit like Mike's, not as wonderful as starting your own company, but I'm from the toy business as well,
Oh, cool.
and had to adapt toys to add electronics to it, to pivot over the years to grow a company. And we did grow the company and we sold the company, which was wonderful. And now I'm looking for a new job to do product development and to get into all of that as well. So,
And is it the product development piece that you feel, is that really where you, in the toy industry, where you come from, the sourcing,
mine's a little bit like Mike's in a sense too. I start in product development, then I go into operations, and now I'm kind of the whole the whole gamut. So it's really going in that entrepreneur and really pulling together a business and building it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's really, those are the difficult, you can go in and just do product development or just do sourcing. But when you have all that experience you pull together, it's exciting to go in and start to build a company. Like Mike was talking about pivoting and making those markers into something a little bit more, because children are changing, the market's changing. How do you pivot with it?
Yeah,
How do you
absolutely.
take a beautiful toy that has no sound or noise or, anything with it, and you have to compete with that on the market and still hold on to the integrity of that product. So that's challenging. So it's fun to find those challenges, but in those entrepreneurial positions. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, I'm going to ask because it's very important. Obviously, you have, is it omni-channel category that you also have exposure to or experience with?
Yeah, it's a little bit of, I've done a little bit of everything, which is wonderful.
Okay.
Which is wonderful.
I say that now because everybody on this call knows how crazy cuckoo I am, that if you are not getting involved with a company that's omni-channel / digital, don't take the job because you're calling me back in 11 months. Okay.
It's
Not-
interesting. I'm sorry to interject, but I did some consulting work. It's funny, I've always been in toys and CPG and all that, even food, but I did some consulting for a media digital company out of DC, which is very interesting, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but you can take those skills and pivot into something else. But it's so great to have that digital media on my resume now too.
Good.
So that parlays into so many different things.
Well, very nice to meet you. I don't know.
Same here. And thank you, Mike. And thank you, Amy.
Of course. Welcome, welcome. Guys, I want to just say that, here is, hold on. Here is what's happening as I'm listening. Like Linda is an executive, Mike has executive. We're all on this call and we're senior in our businesses. If you need to take a look at where you need to either pivot or streamline your skill set or position what you've done, maybe play up your digital, you'll get to know me. I say this word, stretch yourself like taffy. Not so much a white lie. You've done it, you've touched it. It wasn't your whole job, but we stretch it right now like taffy. Why? Because those are the ears that are listening for that stuff. So if you and I have not sat down and had a coaching conversation with one of my team, I'm going to have Lisa put in the chat a chance to jump on my calendar, jump on our team calendar, depending on how busy we all are. You get put by somebody, and we can talk a little bit about, it is a coaching consultation call to see what's your next best strategy right now in your career. There is no obligation to jump in and coach with us, but what we do is sit with you for a minute. Number one, get to know you a little bit as a candidate. We don't know all about you until we get to talk. And number two, what is it that you are or are not doing to land those interviews in the way you position yourself? I live by the 5 Ps. So what is your profile? Is it made up of the branding and the purpose, and is it interwoven so that people like a Mike that has 6 companies is hiring, right? I mean, we hope that, just so you know, that is exactly because these companies, this is how I'm feeling, Mike-sized companies, and I don't want to discount if he's 50 million or 200 million. I don't know his number, so I won't ask for this minute. But we are going to walk away from your big Liz Claiborne's, Warnicos. They're all gone, right? We've got a few left, ABG, Philip Van Heusen, for example. Their methodology is changing in how they're doing work as well. I believe that there's more opportunity, and I have a lot of stats that I didn't get to read, in these small businesses, because a small business is a $500 million business. It can be a $50 million business with 60 to 80 employees, and it is absolutely a place for you to work. Okay, but how do you spin your expertise in what's in it for them, the benefit to that company when they sit down with you? So anyway, Lisa's going to throw that coaching opportunity in the chat to get on the phone with one of us on our team. I also, Lauren Logan, I'd like to say hello. I don't believe that we've met. You're on mute, my friend.
Hi, Amy. Great meeting you. Steve Isaacson had great things to say about you.
I'm so sorry. It takes me a minute. Good to see you. Nice to meet you. So name, title, and what you do, please, just to give us a little bit of a...
Lauren Logan, Orion Development Associates, Executive Business Coach and Fundraising Consultant.
Oh,
and formerly from the apparel business.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's the common thread. Okay, so how did you pivot out of apparel? Let's let everybody know that.
I was deeply into first the buying and then the selling side of apparel. Ran my own company, didn't make a salary for 13 years, strictly 1099, commission-based sales. And then finally was representing Speedo. Speaking of Warnaco Company, Church asked me to chair a phase of its capital campaign. And the bug of being able to translate those sales and marketing skills to the world of helping nonprofits proved to be too strong to resist. So had a wonderful career in nonprofits, helped church raise nearly 30 million, Columbia University Medical Center, Village Care, and then got the opportunity to marry my business world and my nonprofit world. And I do that through executive coaching.
Good for you. That's wonderful. So there's that mission driven piece. I have to say, look at the face. You're just joyful. You can't help yourself. I mean, I share that with people, and I think some people think I get a little cheesy with this whole purpose thing, but I'm a physical therapy major. But I come from a lineage of educators. My mom and dad are both teachers. Grandmother, first woman to graduate from college and then become a home ec teacher. I mean, it's in your guts. And when you do work from your guts, it reads on your face, right? Is it not the truth? Yeah. Well, very nice to meet you. Thank you for saying hello. I love it. I absolutely adore that everybody gets on and says hi. And I think that's fabulous. Miss Kim Friswold, let's hear from Kim Friswold and see what's going on in the world. I know a little of your update, but you can give me.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name, title, and industry, please.
Kim Friswold. I'm a colorist in the industry for a long time. I was freelancing for a few weeks. I really didn't feel like it was a fit for me. It didn't utilize my passion, my skills. I didn't agree with the way certain things were done in terms of it wasn't streamlined, didn't make a lot of sense. So I left that and just decided to put my energy into Photoshop. Really is I need that digital skill. So I'm working on that, and just I look for a job about 5 days a week. I put about 2 hours a day into it. I've sent my resume to many places because I am interested in the interior design industry. So I've changed my resume. I have a second resume geared towards the skills that I have and applying it to the home or, interiors.
Okay. Well, I love what you just said, because I would like to use everybody to be a teaching kind of moment for fun. 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, guys, is it. I'm going to tell you right now, feeding your spirit, getting online, and looking for a job is important, but so is that mental headset, that mind chip, that negative delete, right? Kim knows, Kim and I coach together, negative delete, because there is such a plan for each of us. And I just got chills. I know that I will have a unique business in the next, whatever the evolution is. I am embracing the challenge. I'm working a little bit like 12 and 13 hours, because I'm learning technology, I'm coaching online and all those kind of things. But Kim, good for you. Stick to the 2 hours. Don't let the turkeys get you down, Sister Sledge. And, and you are a colorist. That is your gift. Your portfolio just, oh gosh, it just oozes gorgeousness. It oozes.
I appreciate that so much.
It does though.
I enjoy it.
I know you can tell it's your gift. Your portfolio says it's your gift, and it is your gift. So whether it's interiors or whether it's Benjamin Moore paint, we've talked about this. There is a role for you within a world that is specifically color, or those magazines that they're so tiny. My interiors magazines are so damn tiny lately, but they have color pages. The new swatches of the new gray. I'm so not a gray girl, but gray is it. All these grays. So anyway, so good to see you. Big fat.
Thank you so much, Amy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Take care.
Mary Jagger does not have she's not live, but she's on the phone. Mary, would you be able to hear us? Mary? Okay. Zaina, can you hear us? Maybe not. I know that these two kids are, they are new on our call this week, so I wanted to say hello. Chris Ross, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with you today.
Whoops, hi Amy, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, absolutely. Name, title, and industry, please.
Sure, Chris Ross, Director of North American Sales, offshoring industry. We build offshore teams in the Philippines.
Chris, how is it going? Tell me about the Philippines. Well, personally, what's happening for you? What are you eager for work? Are you looking for inspiration? Are you having fun? What's going on in your world? I know what you do. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, no problem. I'm not looking for work. I just enjoy joining these sessions from time to time to hear Amy's positivity and hear the other ideas that are generated. I always find it's a great place to come and have a cup of coffee and sort of perk yourself up sometimes. Currently, I'm in the Dominican Republic. I'm a refugee of Canada right now. COVID got a little bit bad, so I escaped down here until things got a little bit better.
Good for you.
And business-wise, it has, we've lost some clients, but we've also seen tremendous growth in other clients as well. Our business has, that has been actually a positive return on COVID to a large degree. And personally, I'm looking at expanding. And I remember one of your sessions, I believe it was back in September, on the side gig economy and those sorts of things. And I'll be expanding my team here at Amapta. And something I'd like to share with you, maybe post call this week, Amy, and send some information over that we can share with the group. Because looking to add some people doing exactly what I do, which is helping companies build teams effectively offshore. And that'd be great.
I would love to work with you. And, so I'm going to share what Amapta does, because Chris, just to be kind of right to the point, and then I'm going to share a little admin. I'm going to spotlight myself for the next few minutes. Great to see you, but this is going to be about you also. So just so you know. Okay. Chris is, he is the hub in the wheels for United States and global organizations to have access to a workforce that is overseas. Okay, this is a common thing that is happening right now. And Chris, I'm being the broad stroke. I'm not just being specific to Amapta. You guys are seeing this happen in the workplace, and you're wondering if these men and women are taking your jobs. And in some ways they are, because the cost of that staffing is a lot less than a United States employee. So I will not mislead you. I have used sourcers from the Philippines. We've worked with Chris in the past, and those men and women do sourcing for me. They do things that are automated and then feed me a funnel through which I then go do business development. And I don't need to have someone for $60,000 a year on my biz dev team in America. Now, we don't love to do that because we want everything to be in America, but this is the methodology this is how businesses are changing. So how do you become a part of this? And I'm going to use this time as a teaching moment for everybody. Should you receive a job through this virtual breakfast, or Chris, should you hire through virtual breakfast? Because this is a network that I have created, I do ask that you respect that this is intellectual property and that you come through me, and you just said you would, Chris, so I get that. But just to throw it out there to everybody that's on the call, if it's not understood, as a recruiter, should you find work through virtual breakfast and Amy Cole Connect, we greatly appreciate that you honor the connection, and we will then work the back end out. But when Chris is corporately engaged, and then he runs his teams, he plays the hub in the wheel. So this is a project management type of role. This is a client relations type of role. These kind of roles are out there, guys. This is so fascinating. Chris, I'm so happy you said hello today, because we don't have to just go sell a product. You can be selling services, whether the service is an offshore opportunity for offshore work, or if it's a service of any type in the States. These are jobs that are executive level. Chris this is all executive level with Amy Cole when he spoke to me, taught me about how their business works, is my client connection, blah, 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 right? So these opportunities are out there for us. We don't have to just be stuck in a product, is my point for a minute. And Chris, thank you for jumping on and saying hello. Really, that's great. So the other way you find people that do, help me out here, freelancing or just work, is like companies like Upwork. If you are a good content writer, put yourself on Upwork as a content writer. Small businesses are looking for people to come in and just do their newsletter once a month and pay you $300 a month. So get 4 of those people and you're doing, you get a little income. It's called Upwork. Post yourself, create a profile, use your branding, use your purpose. Call me if you need help with that. And let's get you marketing on sites where small businesses, Mike Pesci, are going to find staff that may not be the corporate $60,000 a year staff with benefits, right? You're an expense to them. But if you're the freelance and you're a consultant for them, but you benefit their business, marketing, development, whatever, product development even. All right. So it was a great way to end our day. Thank you, Chris. You popcorned right off of Mike Pesci and everybody. Nice to have met you, Lauren and Linda and everyone that jumps on. Abe West, good to see you. We will see you next week. And it's Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Amy Cole, get your professional edge on. Virtual breakfast. Ciao, ciao, guys. Talk to you later.